Okay, so if you've been dreaming of a future in Australia, you're going to want to listen up. Some huge news has just dropped. The government has released its state and territory nomination numbers for the 2025-26 migration year. And trust me, these figures are a total game changer. They pretty much dictate the pathways to permanent residency for skilled migrants. So if you're planning a move, this is something you absolutely need to see. And let's not beat around the bush. Here's the headline number right out of the gate. That's the total reduction in nomination spots compared to last year. We're talking nearly 6,000 fewer spots available across the entire country. So what does this actually mean for you? Well, this isn't just a small tweak. It's a really significant tightening of the program. To get through this year, you're going to need a rock-solid strategy, and it all starts with understanding these new numbers. Okay, so before we dive into the nitty-gritty of which state gets what, let's do a quick refresher on what these visas are all about and why these numbers are so important for your journey. We're really focusing on two main players here. You've got the Subclass 190. Think of this as the direct ticket to permanent residency, as long as a state nominates you. Then there's the Subclass 491. This one's your regional route. It's a provisional visa if you're willing to work in regional Australia, and it opens up a clear path to PR down the line. You can think of these allocations as the gatekeepers for the whole system. They decide pretty much everything: who gets an invitation, what jobs are in demand, how high the points competition will be, and even if states prefer people already in Australia or those applying from overseas. So what's the bottom line? Fewer spots means one thing: the competition is about to get a whole lot tougher. All right, let's get to the part you've been waiting for. Let's crunch the brand new numbers for 2025-26 and see what they tell us about the road ahead. And here it is. The big number for this year across Australia for both the 190 and 491 visas is 20,350. Remember that big drop of nearly 6,000 spots we just saw? Yep, this is it. This is the new, smaller pool that everyone is now competing for. But here's where the story gets really interesting. It's not just about the overall cut. It's about how those cuts are spread out. And believe me, it is not an even spread. Some states got hit really hard, while one state, well, it's playing a completely different game this year. Let's take a look. Let's start with the Subclass 190, the direct PR visa. The cuts here are wow. Just look at this. South Australia is down a massive 55%. Western Australia is down by a third. New South Wales, down 30%. You can see the pattern, right? But then you get to Queensland, and something very different is happening there. I mean, this chart just says it all, doesn't it? While places like South Australia and New South Wales took these huge hits, Queensland's 190 visa allocation just skyrocketed. We're talking about a jump of over 200%. It's gone from 600 places to 1,850. Without a doubt, it is the standout state for this visa this year. Okay, so what about the regional 491 visa? Is it the same story? Well, we're seeing a similar pattern of cuts in big states like New South Wales and Western Australia. But hold on, because the biggest shocker of them all is coming out of Victoria. Just look at this. Victoria's allocation for the regional 491 visa has been slashed by a staggering 65%. It has plummeted from 2,000 spots all the way down to just 700. That is a massive change. And Queensland? Yep, it's up again, with a solid 25% increase, really cementing its strong position this year. So, we've seen the numbers, we've seen the shifts. The huge question now is, what does this all mean for you? More importantly, how on earth do you adapt your PR strategy to give yourself the best possible shot at success? Let's boil this down into some real insights. For Victoria, that regional 491 pathway is now going to be incredibly competitive. New South Wales, yeah, it's down, but it's still a major player with a lot of spots up for grabs. Queensland is the undeniable star of the show, especially for that 190 visa. And for places like South Australia and Western Australia, these cuts suggest they're going to be laser-focused on targeting very specific skills they really need. So, what's your game plan? Here are a few things you absolutely need to be doing. First, get your expression of interest lodged as soon as you possibly can. Second, every single point matters, so work on boosting that English score. Third, don't put all your eggs in one basket. You have to explore both the 190 and the 491 pathways. And finally, you've got to be strategic about where you apply. Think Queensland, and think about what specific skills WA and SA are looking for. The experts at Knowbal Insight really hit the nail on the head. They said that having a clear, well-prepared plan is no longer just a nice to have. It's an absolute necessity. The door to Australia isn't closed, not at all, but you're going to need a much smarter, more strategic approach to get through it. So there you have it. That's the new lay of the land. The real question for you is, are you ready to adapt? How are you going to build a winning strategy to succeed in this much more competitive environment? And look, if this all feels a bit overwhelming, you're not alone. The team at Knowbal Migration lives and breathes this stuff, so don't hesitate to reach out for some personalized help. And definitely make sure you're following their channels for all the latest updates. In this new era of Australian migration, planning early and staying informed, well, that's going to be everything.